Hi, I'm May. Welcome to Passages and Promises. This is a podcast that invites immigrant guests, each with their unique stories and experiences, to share everything from comfort foods to family history. Because becoming a global family starts with embracing the stories that make us who we are. Passages and Promises reveal the human stories behind the immigrant tag. You can find me on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. A little disclaimer, the views expressed in this podcast are those of the individual guests. Each story reflects one person's perspective and experiences and does not represent every community or culture. This series is meant to share personal journeys and encourage understanding through open conversation. Alright, without further ado, let's get into today's Passages and Promises. For the first episode, join us for a heartfelt chat with Norie, a Brazilian with Japanese roots, as she shares her journey of embracing cultural identity and adapting to life in the U.S. Her childhood was shaped by a Spartan boarding school experience where she learned Japanese calligraphy and discipline from a young age, and discover how her daughter introduced anime to her U.S. school, sparking a new interest in Japanese culture among her classmates and even teachers. She also reveals the unexpected challenges of adapting to life in the U.S., from language barriers to cultural surprises like the way holidays are celebrated. Can you introduce yourself and share a bit about where you're from or where your family is from?
Sure. So I'm Norie. My family is from Japan. However, they immigrated to Brazil, and therefore I'm Brazilian.
I see. Did you grow up your whole life in Brazil?
Yes.
Oh.
It was in Brazil, in São Paulo, where there are many immigrants, Japanese immigrants.
Wow. Did you like it there?
Yes, well, it was my whole life there, so I have no other choice.
How long did you live there for?
In Brazil?
Yeah, in Brazil, in Sao Paulo.
São Paulo, okay.
Yeah.
I lived in São Paulo until I was 18 years old.
Wow, like your whole childhood.
My whole period of school. Yeah. And then I went to college in Brasilia, which is the capital of Brazil.
I see. So where do you live now?
Now I live in...
Did you move to Washington, D.C. right after you finished college?
No. I came to the U.S. in 2013.
I see. Which language would you say you're most comfortable with?
Portuguese, of course, because it's native language.
So you speak 3 languages?
Yes.
Wow.
No, my English is so with me.
You're speaking it very well. There's absolutely no problem with communication here. I think 3 languages is so cool. Do you have any childhood memories, foods, or traditions? What was your childhood like in general?
Well, my childhood was kind of Spartan because my parents sent me to a boarding school when I was 6 years old.
6?
So I feel that I never lived with my parents. But one of my favorite memories, well, if favorite means fun, was playing volleyball in the street.
With your friends?
Yeah, with my friends, because we didn't have a proper court, so we tied a net from one side of the street to another side, and whenever a car needed to pass, we would leave the net, let it go by, and just keep playing. So it was a really quiet neighborhood, so that made it possible. And honestly, it was a lot of fun playing with.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Oh my gosh. Yeah. How old were you then?
6 years old until 15 years old. But the boarding school itself was pretty strict.
Really?
So we had to wake up early, clean the school, follow a tight daily schedule. That included learning Japanese, doing calligraphy, Japanese calligraphy, singing kids' songs, because the boarding school was Japanese.
Really?
So writing essays in Japanese, learning piano, playing tennis, swimming, going to Brazilian school, coming back, helping the lady in the kitchen to cook for everyone, doing homework, and then going to bed early. Yeah, the routine was very strict.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun at all. But I think it was thanks to that not fun routine that I've learned so many things. In a way, I think it wasn't a bad experience because now I feel like I can survive in tough situations.
Right. That's such like a unique experience. Wow. Wait, but I'm genuinely curious. So during that boarding school, was that boarding school far from where your parents lived?
Yes, it was about 1,000 kilometers from my parents' home. So I had no money or freedom, and I really had no option but to adapt to that boarding school.
Wow. And so were all the kids attending that school Japanese as well? And they were all like also immigrants, like around the same generation.
Yes.
Wow. Was did you also learn like Portuguese at the same time? Because I know like a lot of the schooling was in Japanese, but
Yeah, so I had to go to the Brazilian school in the afternoon. So that schedule was like in the morning do this, that, and then in the afternoon go to the school, and then coming back and doing homework, help the lady in the kitchen, and then go to bed, and then wake up early, like 5:30, clean the school, and then it was crazy. Yes,
30?
yes, it was dark. It's still dark. We never woke up when the sun was shining. Like it was always dark.
And this was every day. Did you have
Every day.
Saturdays and Sundays?
Saturday and Sunday is the same routine, except that we were playing volleyball. That's why I like volleyball, because we had the freedom to play.
Right.
We were kids. We wanted to play.
You were 6 years old. What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And were you the youngest there, like as a 6-year-old?
I think I was, yes.
And this spanned until 18 years old?
No, the owner of the boarding school died when I was 15 years old, so I felt that I was free from that place.
The boarding school? That's crazy.
Yes, it was crazy. But as I said, looking back, I think I'm grateful.
Right. It must have been really tough. I can't imagine it not being tough, but it sounds like you going through a lot of experiences during your childhood has really built your like braveness. But yeah, that's really shocking. I just really didn't expect it because a boarding school at 6 years old sounds really scary. Oh my god. Yeah. Do you have any like foods that you ate a lot during that time?
I ate a lot of mackerel. We prepared a lot of mackerel rice, of course, because it's Japanese, and cabbage salad. That is what I remember because I like it. The rest, I didn't like it, so yeah, I don't want to remember.
Cabbage salad, like the ones that come with like tonkatsu, like the cabbage salad.
Yes.
Do you still eat that, or is your diet now, like what you eat, really different now?
It's very frugal what I eat even now. It's most Japanese food. It's vegetable and fish and chicken, not maybe Japanese Brazilian.
So you like blend both? But do you have like a favorite food from both cuisines, Japanese and Brazilian?
Wow, that's difficult because I like most of the things, and I love food. So, well, in Brazil, I like fish stew. It's a typical food of the coast area. And in Japan, I like sushi. What is the name of the meat that is very tender? Wagyu.
Oh, it's
Wagyu, so not a lot, just a little bit. Grilled.
Yes, such good taste. I love food. What's the name of the fish stew, did you say, in Brazil?
Moqueca.
Moqueca. I'll look at how do you spell it?
Moqueca.
Okay,
Actually,
thank
I had that in my house. Your mom liked it.
you. Really?
Yeah.
At the Thanksgiving?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, I'll ask my mom about how it tasted. Your food, the food that you always make at like the Thanksgiving dinners, they're always so good. Are they like usually a blend of Brazilian and Japanese?
Yeah. It's always a blend.
Yeah, it tastes so good. I love it. So how long have you lived in the US again then?
Well, I live since 2013, so it's 13, 25, 12 years.
Oh wait, 12. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
12.
12.
Yeah, I see. Is the lifestyle really, really different in the US?
It is.
Yeah.
Because in Brazil, I had someone to help me to clean the room. First of all, the house was big. In the US, we moved to a small apartment. So this was already super different for me. And also, in terms of culture,
What were some challenges or surprises when adjusting to life in the US?
well, adjusting to life in the US was really challenging at first, especially because I already had 2 kids when I came here, and I didn't speak English. I could read and write, but not speak and listening. Speaking and listening was super hard. So there was definitely cultural barrier in the beginning. And also, for instance, in Brazil, we celebrate both Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But here in the US, I noticed that Christmas Eve isn't really celebrated.
True. Yeah, I was surprised about that.
In the same way. And depending on someone's religious background, some people celebrate Hanukkah instead, or they might not celebrate Christmas at all. Well, anyways, over time, I realized that regardless of culture or religion, people everywhere have the same kinds of emotions. We all experience fear, joy, excitement, concern. So the main difference actually is just how those feelings are expressed. In Brazil, very expensive. In the US, they are more calm, like they are calmer. In Japan, even calmer, like they do not even their face. But in the end, I believe we are all connected, and there is always something we can learn from each other. We are all.
Oh, that's so amazing. But then, so when you navigated those challenges, like in the beginning with not being able to, did you say speak and listen English? Like, how long did it take you, do you think, to kind of get used to?
I still didn't get used to. I still struggle, and my kids, they grew up here, so correct me the whole time. Mom, your accent is wrong. This is wrong. Your grammar is wrong. But in the beginning, I was going to a school, language school, to be able to communicate.
Right. Yeah. So in the US.
In the US, yes.
I see. Did that help a lot? What you think?
It helped me a lot to get the TOEFL, because I needed to get it, because I wanted to study, to get some master. So, so I had to learn. And it helped a lot.
Yeah, I mean, your English is amazing. I'm still jealous about being able to speak 3 languages. I know that you lived around a lot of Japanese kids because the boarding school was like a Japanese boarding school. You said in Brazil, but among the other students, were you speaking Portuguese or Japanese?
Portuguese.
Portuguese. Oh, I see. Are you okay? Were you more comfortable with Portuguese even then?
Yes.
I see.
Apparently, my parents told me that they taught me Japanese. So I was only speaking Japanese until going to the boarding school. So when I went to boarding school, I had the Japanese classes, but also I had to go to Brazilian school. So there I started to learn Portuguese also.
I see. But then, so you only learned Japanese for like 6 years before you went to the boarding school, right? Like,
Yeah, my parents speak Japanese.
right. But like those years from when you're 0 years old to like 6 years old, you're very young then. So I know you had Japanese classes, but was it hard to maintain?
It is. If
Yeah.
you don't use the language, and I was not using during long time when I went to college in Brazil. I was not
Right.
using, so I was forgetting already.
How did you kind of revive the Japanese?
Well, now I'm reviving because I'm doing lots of translation
Ah,
from Japanese to Portuguese. So
I
I do
see.
volunteer work to translate books. I'm not the translator like who has the name in the book as a
Oh, right.
translator, but I'm
Yeah.
ghost translator so that one famous person write his or her name because
Yeah.
it's famous and then they are going to be the translator. But actually I'm doing the translation.
Wait, that's so cool. The books, are those like more essays? Are they like picture books or what kinds of books do you translate?
It is kind of philosophical books.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
yes. So I need to review words. Even
Right.
so, I want to maintain my Portuguese and my Japanese, but I'm in the US. So I don't
Yeah.
use much of Japanese or Portuguese. So
Yeah.
I'm with this volunteer work, I'm keeping constant my Portuguese and English and Japanese because I'm doing this translation because words, no, language, they evolve. The Japanese language is evolving, Portuguese language is evolving, but I can keep up because of this translation work that I'm doing.
That's really cool. Oh my, I didn't know that. Like vocabulary in philosophical books or like the philosophical field is really complicated, right?
Yes. So the meaning is complicated already, and I have to translate into Portuguese. So I have to understand in Japanese, otherwise, I cannot translate into Portuguese in a meaningful way or in an understandable way. So it's helping me a lot.
This is a bit off track, but did you learn a lot about philosophy through the translations as well?
Yes. And it's amazing. Because of this, uh, I'm curious, so I go after like Indian epics like Mahabharata or Bhagavad Gita. You know, I'm reading, I'm trying to understand other culture in order to understand what I'm translating, you know, because philosophy is not just complicated things. It has lots of culture inside, it has lots of meaningful how can I say, meaningful lessons for our life. So, and that's the reason I go to Indian epics, I go to Roman Empire epics like Socrates, Plato, you know, to understand what they were trying to say. It's very nice.
Yeah. Do you spend a lot of time doing this? You sound like super knowledgeable.
I spend a lot of time. When I have time, I'm doing this.
And this is completely volunteer work?
Volunteer work. I'm learning, so it's volunteer, but it's my, how can I say, it's my knowledge, and not knowledge only. I even my kids, they say, "Mom, I don't know what you're doing, but you are getting better. Like you are understanding more things. Like it's very reasonable now. Before I was just, you know, yeah, philosophy makes you settle, to calm down, think about, and so even dealing with them or talking to them, it makes me calm down and think about their concerns, their fear. You know, it's easy to understand.
I see, I see. When you went to college, did you learn about philosophy or was that?
Yeah, I I learned, but I was like, oh my God, it's going in circle. I'm not understanding anything. Yeah.
So what do you think changed your like mindset? Like, do you think it's the fact that now you're translating it from Portuguese into Japanese, and previously it wasn't in that setting, or what do you think changed your mindset about?
That's a very good question because I was thinking about this. What changed? Why in the past I couldn't understand? And I think it's about anything is about when you are ready to understand. Maybe it's related to maturity, but also with what you are going on. And so, for instance, I'm thinking why my daughter reacts this way. And I want to really understand. By doing this, actually, the answer is not in those philosophical material, but they guide you to seek the answer. So I consider the philosophical teachings as a guide to understand my daughter and myself.
I see.
I think this is because I really want to understand my daughter or understand my son or change my behavior, change my behavior as a mother. Maybe it's not the way that I should proceed. I need to listen more. I need to not to say things when it's not necessary. I start to think more about my own behavior, thoughts, and actions.
I see. Do you think your parenting style, like what you're reflecting on right now, was influenced a lot by your culture? Because right now, like you're thinking about how to connect with or how to understand your daughter and yourself more. But before, like you started reading the philosophical texts and started being a lot more interested in that, you had like a different way of connecting with your daughter before, right? Do you think that sort of parenting was influenced by your culture?
Yes. It was completely Brazilian culture and mixed with Japanese. You just obey and that's it. And it's not the way because my daughter has her own way of thinking. My son has his own way of thinking. Although they came from the same belly, they are different. Yeah. I think this is the challenge, like to understand them. Because, yes, before it was like, no, you obey and that's it. I didn't have any empathy to listen. This is Brazilian style or Japanese style. And the way I grew up, it was like, hai to you sunao na kokoro. That's what hurt my whole childhood.
I see.
Hi, hi, hi.
Hi.
And I was like, no, I didn't want to say hi. I was punched.
That concept of like haiku sunao na kokoro.
No,
Yeah, that concept, is it common in both Brazilian and Japanese parenting?
I think even in Brazil, they say that we have to obey the elder. So if you are not paying any bills or anything, you have to just obey. But there is a difference, right? It's not. Now I know this. We have to respect each person.
Yeah. So in both Japan and Brazil, there's like a kind of understanding that hierarchy and being able to like respect your elders. And are there any like big differences that you notice between Brazil and Japan in terms of like what they teach or like the parenting, or was it mostly similar in your experience?
In my experience, it was kind of similar.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah. So, did you feel like your culture was represented in school or media growing up? Because you went to boarding school in Japan, so I assume there were a lot of people like in terms of like cultural background.
Well, in Brazil, I think the Japanese people and culture both were valued. Like they give a lot of value, mainly because there were many Japanese immigrants who who succeeded despite really difficult conditions. There was this common belief that Japanese people were honest, hardworking, dedicated, and of course, that impression might have changed over time. But about 20 years ago, it was very strong, this belief that Japanese people. In the US, I've seen a lot of cultural representation in schools, especially when my kids were younger. We used to participate in food fairs, cultural events, where families could share their backgrounds. I think that kind of exposure is very important. It helps kids understand that their way of thinking isn't the only one, and it's a great way to open their minds from a young age. And this we don't have much in Brazil, actually.
So, were there a lot of Japanese Brazilians in Brazil when you lived there at that time?
Yeah, well, in the boarding school, everyone was like that.
Yeah.
But when I went to college, yeah, there were many, like 20 people.
Hi. In the whole grade?
Yeah. And so we had chorus in college.
Yeah.
We called Tanoshi Tori. So we were singing chorus during Christmas to, yeah, I was soprano.
Can you sing now?
Maestro, whatever the main person, she was making us practice, but individually. So she was like, you have to bring your voice from the belly, not from the throat. And so the training or practice was very hard. But I liked it.
I wanted to join chorus. Would you say that the way people interacted in the whole college, not just Japanese, not just Brazilians, like in the whole college, was different from how people interacted in the boarding school?
Yes. In the boarding school, it was just a top-down system. You have to say yes, yes, sir. But in college, no. You had more freedom to speak out loud your thoughts, and no, it was different. I think in college there was this respect towards Japanese descendants. Yeah, so there was this. But in the boarding school, there was no respect. We had to follow the hierarchy, like say just yes, sir, to the main person, and that's it. And follow the rules.
It was, and the hierarchy was in order of age? I see. And did you live with, like, in the same room as other students when you were at the boarding school?
Yes. I slept in the same room with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people in the same room.
Wow. Do you have any memories from that time, like being in a room with 7 other?
Yeah, I have a very bad memory when everyone is studying in the same room, and I was 6 years old, and I was doing. Well, there are two experiences, but one was I needed to go to the restroom, and I stand up and I was walking.
Yeah.
And then I was passing by behind the principal, and she didn't look at me or say, yelled, "Doko ikimasu ka?" And I jumped behind her and I said, "Toire!" And then she went, "Toire, gofujo desho." And I said, "What is gofujo?" Like,
Hey guys, so I'm just going to translate the story she just told. So apparently she was walking towards the bathroom and was asked by the principal where she was going. And keep in mind, she was like 6 years old still. So she answered the principal by saying toire, which literally means toilet. And the principal yelled at her by saying, "Toire de wa nai, gofujo desho." And gofujo means bathroom. In other words, it's a euphemism of toilet. And then Norie asked, "What is gofujo?"
This was one experience that I've never forget. And then another one was doing calligraphy. I was doing, do you know the calligraphy, Japanese calligraphy?
Shodo.
Shodo.
Oh, yeah. I
You have to do the sumi
Yeah.
Right? So I was doing the ink, but I liked, because 6 years old, you want to play, right? And I said, what if my rectangle thing that you have to rub?
Oh yeah, I don't know what the name is.
You don't know, right?
I don't know the name. But
Yes,
it's
I don't remember the name, but that
yeah.
there is one thing that you carry the water here,
Right.
and then you rub the sumi in order to make the ink black.
Yeah.
So I was doing this, and then I
Mhm.
was splashing on purpose because I was a kid.
Right.
It was my first day. Everyone was like, stop doing this. Oh my God. They told me to get out of the place. Of course, the lady that who is super mad at me is yelling, go to door. She shouted, get out of the room. And then I was like, oh, nice. And I went to play in the swing.
Oh. You guys had a playground?
Tetsubo and swing only.
Oh.
That was the only place. And so I
Mm.
was playing by myself. It was
Oh,
not fun. It was alone, so everyone was studying.
6 years old and you were told to get out?
Yeah. But I was happy because
What?
it was boring to be there. So I was happy and playing. And so
Mm.
next time when she told me to go out, she said,
Yeah.
no swing. Because she thought I was having fun. So she
Oh,
said, no in the swing. You can't go in the swing. Okay. So I was playing with rocks or doing whatever.
I can't imagine doing that when I'm 6 years old. That's so scary. Did you get used to it at some point, or was it like, did it scare you every time?
Well, I got used.
Mm.
And I told my mother, adults lie, adults are weird. I don't know why because this lady, she was so mad at me the whole year. And then in the end of the year, she was giving me, 一番素直な子.
Interrupting through a voiceover again, but I'm just going to explain what this means. 一番素直な子 means the most obedient or sincere child.
Because there was the sotsugyoshiki. There was
Yeah.
a presentation to the parents of who was the most sunao, 一番素直な子. I was still 6 years old. I was thinking it was not me because she was the whole year like yelling at me, and then she was like, Norie. And I was like, what? And I was receiving the gift, looking at everyone saying, this is not true. Like, so that's why I was like to my parents, she was mad at me the whole year. How she can give me that thing? I don't deserve that thing. So I don't like this. So that from that point on, I didn't like anyone who was homeru, giving me any award or thing. It's not fair. Like it's not true because I got used to this kind of like award who was not really fair.
Did that teacher ever explain why you got the most Snow award?
I had no idea because she died and I have not asked. I was just telling my mother, she's lying. She's lying. And then my mother was, you have to be kansha shinaito, kansha shinaito. And I said, okay.
And this was that were there all 6 years old too?
No, there were many ages, like 6, 7, 8, 9. I think the oldest was Kazue, Sakae Kazue. I remember her. And because this owner who is mad at me the whole year, she was saying, "Kazue no you ni sunao ni narinasai. Kazue no you ni narinasai." So I remember her, and she was in high school, so she must be at that time 16, 18, no 17, no maybe 16, 17.
And out of all the students ranging from 6 to 16, you got the most Snow?
Yes. It was Kazue. Actually, she should have got, not me. And that's the reason I start to think that adults lie. This type of award is never fair. It's always, there is some bias that I couldn't understand. You don't give value to these awards anymore, because you think, whatever.
Even now, do you still have the mentality that adults lie? Yeah.
And that's the thing that I want to work on me, because if I grew up in that environment, I have this mentality unconsciously set in my circuit of thought, and I don't want to play the same thing to my daughter, to my kids. So in that sense, these philosophical books are helping me a lot, because then I can observe myself. Oh, I have the same line of thought. I'm saying that adults lie when I was 6 years old, but I got the same thing because I got used to that. So when you get used to those line of thoughts, you don't recognize that you have, because it's automatic. It's like a habit that it's unconscious.
Right. Wow, I'm learning so much today. Did you have other school traditions like that?
That was Sotogyoshiki. We had the tradition to, yes, to write sakubun, because after, you go to the boarding school, you spend the whole school year there. Then you have winter vacation, which is in Brazil, it was 1 month, and then summer vacation, 1 month and a half. So during this period, she was sending the kids back home. And then the tradition was to write essay after, writing essay about your vacation. And my vacation was every time the same. And my parents, they were always working, and fighting when they were together. I remember that she was selecting the best essays to be published in the newspaper. But mine was never selected because it was every time boring.
Oh, I see. That sakubun culture I remember in Japan. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people invent. Yeah, they make up stories. But I didn't want to invent things, so I was writing the same boring things.
Were you graded for it?
Oh, she was sending to the newspaper. That was yeah.
Were there any other school traditions or other traditions outside of school, or just like in the general Brazilian culture?
In Brazilian culture tradition, now they don't have, but before, at my time, before starting the school, we had to sing the national anthem and then lift the flag.
Oh, and this took place not at school? Yeah.
Brazilian school. Now they don't have this because it seems military. So they had dictatorship during one period, and they don't want to go back to that dictatorship time. So they're not doing this anymore.
I see. Are there any other like Brazilian traditions that you really like remember loving or?
Yeah, in June they have in June in Brazil is winter. So they have this interior fiesta, like a party where they eat food prepared with mainly with corn, and because that's the main crop that they can get during winter.
And this was to celebrate a certain thing, or was it?
They call Festa Junina, which means like winter party. Because it's winter, they make a big fire in the center, and then they dance and then eat these corn sweets. And
were there specific like dances, music, or food from that festival?
Yeah, it is very specific. It's kind of interior, like how can I say? It's country music, type of country music. And then they dance around the fire.
Do you still follow a lot of the traditions, Brazilian traditions now, or like how else do you connect to your cultural roots?
The way I connect is going there and meeting people and talking to them. Yeah, it's traveling there because now I live in the US.
Does your family still live there?
Yes.
I see, I see. Are there ways that you then connect with your Japanese culture?
It is also going to Japan. Like this year, I went in January, and now I'm going in August with my parents.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Where are you visiting?
We're going to Tokyo only because they want to do some. It's a bomb, right? August.
I think so, yeah.
So they want to do something for the ancestors. So I'm just following and respecting this tradition they have.
I see, I see. Are there specific places in Brazil or Japan that you like frequently visit, or do you generally just like kind of travel wherever in those countries?
In Brazil, I go in Brasilia, where I still have a house there. So I
Really?
go there in Brasilia. And also most of my relatives are there. My cousins, they are like brothers and sisters to me. My brother is there. And in Japan, I go to mostly to Tokyo and Fukuoka, where my husband has roots.
I see. So when you were like much younger, were those places the places you frequently visited or not really? Because the places in Japan are where your husband has roots. So I assume you didn't really visit those places when you were a child. But Brasilia, you said, was that where you went to college?
Yes, a college was in Brasilia. Yeah.
I see.
But I don't go to where the boarding school was. I don't go much. I don't have much good memory. I grew up there, but I don't have any people who live there.
I see. In Brasilia, were there specific places that you would like visit frequently, whether it was like a store or like a restaurant?
Yeah, restaurant. During COVID, most of them. Yes, restaurant and also my friends, my relatives, my cousins, my brother's house.
Yeah.
It's more connecting with people.
How was it different coming to the US then from all those different experiences?
And coming to the US, the difference was the language,
Right.
friends,
Yeah.
lifestyle, everything was different from Brazil.
Yeah. Was there any like first lesson that you learned when you came to the US?
The first lesson, and the one that I liked, was that the school where my kids were going, and there were many people from like top international organizations such as World Bank, IMF, kids whose parents were from those places, and also kids from very humble life, like a bus driver son, or some, even I don't know if he was illegal or legal, but those people who immigrated without legal documents, but they were there and they were all together playing in the same school, but good, in a good neighborhood. So they were all playing together, and that was very nice. Which in Brazil it is impossible to see such a exchange, or like different classes being together.
Were there very like specific areas that were more separated based on social class or
Yes, in Brazil. Yeah. So they were living in a bubble there, and then here they were in a mix, which was really good.
So seeing that like mix of very like different people, were there any like songs or movies or any sort of media that you guys sort of exchanged with each other?
You know, one of the nice exchange was that, for instance, my daughter, she introduced lots of anime to in the school, and even the professor, like history professor, he started to use one of the, I don't know, uh, history anime in class, and then she started to influence others to Japanese culture. And one of the lady, her friend, she never had any interest in Japan. She hates Japanese food, but she went to Japan because she was curious about Japan. Thanks to this anime thing, my daughter's introduction of Japan, history of Japan to her.
Kind of related to that, are there any songs or movies that bring back memories of your like time in Brazil, or like just your background?
My background.
Experience.
Any movie, songs. I don't remember. Because in the boarding school, it was so strict. Whatever I needed to do, I didn't have like culture.
Did they not have TVs?
No TV. No TV.
Or radios? No.
No radios.
I see. Yeah. When you were talking earlier about the festival where people are like dancing and I think singing country songs, do you remember those specific songs?
It's like, John Denver, West Virginia, Country Roads. It's type of that song, but then because it's slow and then you can dance.
How do you think the version of you that was unfamiliar with the US, like when you were in Brazil, when you were going to the boarding school, like any version of you before coming to the US would react to the current version of you?
That version was why I didn't wake up earlier. Because I woke up late. I'm now 50 something. And at that time, I was raised in the boarding school that was very competitive, very like selfish.
Do you think you've like changed a lot?
I think it's not changed a lot, but it's changing a little bit because I'm more self-aware of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that makes. What's something that you would want younger people of like similar backgrounds to know?
Yes, okay. I have to go back to the interview, right? you made me think about my childhood a lot, but yes, okay, the focus of the interview. If I could tell something to younger people, it would be don't stress too much about your identity. I went through that when I first came to the US. I was like, wait, am I Brazilian, Japanese, both, neither? What am I? And then the US came in with their magical solution. Just check the Asian box. Problem solved. Right? Not really, because seriously, over time, I realized that labels are just labels. What really matters is that at the end of the day, we are all just human beings trying to survive. Like Mondays, get through our routine and maybe have a little bit of fun along the way. The language might be different. Some come from South America, some others from Asia, Korean, Japanese, or Middle East, whatever. Where the food might change, although rice seems to follow me everywhere. But deep down, we are more similar than we think. I once heard Einstein, I saw actually Einstein when he was filling out those official US forms. You know, the ones that is ask if you are Latino, Asian, or white, etc. And instead of picking one, he just wrote a new bracket titled human being. At that time, I thought he's just sarcastic. But now I agree with him. I think in the end, no matter where you come from or where we come from, we are all human beings, just with differences. And that's what really matters, regardless of religion, culture, background, language, anything, color. We are all human beings.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Passages and Promises. If you have a story to share or just want to reflect, leave a comment or fill out the survey linked in the description. I'd love to hear how it resonated with you. And if this episode resonated with you, don't forget to share it with someone who might connect with it too. You can also visit the blog on our website where I write about each episode and share some of my own reflections along the way. We all have our own journeys and the promises we carry, and I hope this podcast gave you a moment to reflect on yours. See you next time when we'll explore the next person's passages and promises.